Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's Christine with gaugegirltraining, an online meal planning and coaching service. I'm a food scientist and chemical engineer, and in today's video, I'm gonna teach you guys the top 5 things I wish I knew before I started my health journey. So let's get started. So I think it's fair to say that life's biggest educator has a tendency to be failure. We learn more from the times we mess up than from the times that we are just succeeding effortlessly. And our health is no exception. I want to share with you guys the things I wish I knew because I've done all kinds of things and I've done so many things wrong. And had I known these 5 simple things sooner, I could have literally saved myself 15 years of stress and heartache. So the first thing that I wish I knew was that your portions matter. And this is a thing. I used to think that just eating healthy foods was good enough. And I think a lot of people do. They may think that, oh, I shop at Whole Foods. Oh, I shop at Trader Joe's. Oh, I buy organic. That's great, guys. But you can buy the most organic bougie food on the planet. If you are eating too much of it, it doesn't matter. I used to get so frustrated because I would eat chicken, I would eat vegetables, I would eat rice, I would eat healthy foods, I would eat fruit, I would eat all kinds of things. But the thing is, I was eating too much. And I did this for years. And I would eat I'm eating healthy. Why am I not losing weight? And I used to think that eating healthy foods, eating clean was good enough. And the reality is it is not. All right, tip number 2, protein matters. So once I got the memo, okay, portions matter, you need to know how much to be eating. I got into calorie counting. I tried to keep my calories within a certain range and I had success. But it wasn't until I really started to boost my protein content to at least 1 gram of protein per pound body weight. I was up as high as 1.2 grams of protein per pound body weight during my contest prep. And you can see from these photos here, the difference between what I looked like when I was just leaning out. And yes, you can see, yes, I was able to get smaller, I was able to lose weight. But the difference between that photo and this photo here, where I clearly have less body fat and more muscle, was because I substantially increased my protein. Now, that included eating protein with every meal in addition to having protein supplementation. So number 3, I used to think that you needed to starve to reach your goal. What I mean by that is I've coached so many clients who are used to just jumping into 1,200 calorie a day meal plans, 1,000 calorie a day, 800 calorie a day plans for the short term. And here's the reality. Will you lose weight if you do that? The answer is yes. But you don't need to put yourself through that. What I like to do when a client starts with me on a custom or coaching program is I want to give you the maximum amount of calories that you can consume, supporting positive metabolic function while supporting progress of at least 1/2 inch loss per week. If you can lose 1/2 inch off of your waist per week, eating 1,900, 1,800, 1,600 calories, why on earth would we start you at 1,200? The reality is, guys, in order for you to be successful, you're gonna have to be able to sustain this longer than 2-3 weeks. You're gonna need to be able to go the distance. And one way to support that is you wanna start as high as possible. And how do you know what that value is? You guys can check out my free macros tutorial. The link is below, where I explain how to determine your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, how to determine your total daily energy expenditure, and then from there, how to determine your daily goal calorie range. So if you feel like you might not be eating enough and this is really hard, guys, you can eat a substantial amount of food, feel full volume-wise, and still reach your goals. So the next thing, this is gonna sound a little different, but I'm a mesomorph body type, as you guys know from my channel and my series on body types. I have a tendency to gain weight easily, lose weight easily. It wasn't until I realized that I was consuming too much dietary fat. Now, I have done well on a ketogenic protocol before, but I'm talking about a non-ketogenic protocol. I'm talking about a high protein, moderate carb, low fat plan. And I found that cooking oils can really have you just overshoot your fat macros quite easily. And it wasn't until I started being more specific, really started zooming in on how much fat I was consuming, that I was able to see more substantial differences in my physique. And fat is probably the easiest macro to overshoot if you are on a high protein, low fat, moderate carb approach. Now, that's not the only way to eat. There are other eating styles. You guys can learn more about that in my free macros blueprint, which is listed below. But when I fine-tuned that number, the body just started changing, and I was so pleasantly pleased. And it was a breakthrough for me to see what a difference that made in my physique. Tip number 5 of the thing I wish I knew before I started my health journey was working out more isn't always more. It's about managing a caloric deficit. Let me explain. I used to think that if I worked out more and more and more and more, I would lose more and more and more weight. But what ended up happening for me, the more I worked out, the hungrier and hungrier and hungrier I got. And yes, if you work out, you need to eat a little bit more to balance out your total daily energy expenditure. But it would make me so ravenous that I would just overshoot my total daily energy expenditure, just keep myself in the maintenance range. And as a result of that, I would never lose weight. And I kept telling myself, because I used to be a distance runner, I used to run marathons, I used to run for miles and miles and miles. I used to think that, okay, I had a hard workout, I ran 5 miles today, I ran 10 miles, I could eat more and more, but it got to the point where this style of training just drove my hunger up so high that it completely defeated the purpose. So what I ended up doing was I started weight training and I dialed my cardio back, because my workouts used to literally be like 90% cardio, 10% weight training, until I shifted that ratio to about like 60-70% weight training, 30-40% cardio. And I still do cardio, but I don't do it so intensely to the point that it makes me so starving that I just completely negate the caloric deficit. So I hope these tips were helpful, you guys. Enjoy the content. Please give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, friends.